In 2022, the waiting is the hardest part. Hi, I'm immigration lawyer Jim Hacking, practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. In today's video, we're going to talk about the wait. We're going to talk about the frustration. We're going to talk about what you can do to try to get your case moving. So let's set the stage. You are married to someone overseas. You are trying to bring your spouse to the United States, or you are married to someone from overseas who's in the United States. Either way, you're trying to start your life together. You're trying to get things going. You've gone ahead and gotten married, and now you're trying to get the immigration process completed so that you can get your partner their green card. You want to get them lawful permanent residence in the United States, and you've done everything right. You've paid all the fees. You've filed all the forms. You've done all the work that you're supposed to do, but nobody is working on your case. Months go by, months go by, months go by, and you just keep waiting. You get on the internet and you start searching for answers. You're wondering, is there something wrong with our case? Is there something wrong with our marriage? I'm here to tell you, it's not you, it's them. It's USCIS. It's the State Department. These bureaucracies are broken. This is not your fault. Do not feel bad. This is the government at its worst. This is a government that can't do the job that you paid them to do. We can't forget that you paid the filing fees associated with the immigration benefit that you are seeking for your partner. We can't forget that you've done everything that you're supposed to do. And we understand your frustration. All we do at our law firm is immigration, but a huge portion of the immigration that we do are marriage-based and fiancé-based green cards, either through the immigrant visa process or through the adjustment of status process. I can't tell you how often we talk to people who are simply fed up. They don't know what to do. They're banging their heads on the wall. They're crying themselves to sleep at night. They're talking to their partner and they're saying, I don't know when we're going to be together. I don't know if and when this is going to happen. They've waited all these months and they can't get any answers. So like I said, they turn to the internet and they start trying other things. They call their members of Congress, they call their U.S. senator, or they call their representative, and they say, hey, I'm one of your constituents. I live in your state, or I live in your district. Can you please help me? And of course, the member of Congress wants to keep a voter happy, and they want to do what they can to help you. So what they do is they ask an intern down at the end of the hall, the person in the little bitty closet office, and they say, hey, send a privacy form to the U.S. citizen and say, if you fill this out, we'll make an inquiry to USCIS, or we'll ask the State Department about what's going on in your case. I'm not saying that they aren't well-meaning. I'm just saying it's not effective. They don't listen to the intern. They don't listen to the congressperson. They don't listen to the senator. They just keep waiting. They just keep doing what they want. So after that doesn't work, a lot of people say, oh, there's something called the USCIS ombudsman. What is the ombudsman? The ombudsman is the person, the office, who's in charge of keeping USCIS honest. The State Department does not have such an ombudsman, but the USCIS ombudsman stands in for a lot of the people who have frustrations with immigration, and they reach out and they ask the ombudsman for help. The ombudsman can't do anything, and specifically, the ombudsman is not going to do anything simply about delay. The ombudsman's charge is to figure out systemic problems at USCIS, and they recently issued a report where they talked about the problems at USCIS. But on a case-by-case basis, the ombudsman is not going to help you with getting the case moving. They've specifically said they're not working on simple delays anymore. It needs to be something more complex. It needs to be something bigger than just that your case is taking a long time. The next thing that people try is to expedite their case. And they put a whole lot of effort into saying, I need my case expedited. My case is more important than the cases that are ahead of me. Here's why my case is more important. My dad is sick. My mom is sick. My kid is sick. My dog is sick. The problem with expedite requests is that every single person is asking for their case to be expedited. If you ask for your case to be expedited, you're just like everybody else. The USCIS is not equipped to expedite all these cases, and so expedite requests are falling on deaf ears and nothing is happening. So you might be asking yourself, Jim, I've heard all this. I know all this. Is there anything that I can do? And I can honestly tell you that the only thing that works, the only thing that has the possibility of working, is suing USCIS, is suing the State Department, is filing a lawsuit in federal court in the district in which you live, and you're going to ask a federal judge to compel the agency that is sitting on your case to issue a decision. You're not asking the judge to decide the case. You're not asking the judge to order you a green card. You're asking the judge to order the agency to make a decision, because the law says that they can approve a case. The law says they can deny a case, but the law also says that they can't sit on a case forever. That's what we're seeing, this long delay, these year-long delay where they just sit on the case, and that is contrary to the Administrative Procedures Act, and it's contrary to federal law. This means that you can file an action in federal court, and you send a copy to each of the defendants. In most cases, when you sue them, they start working on the case. They usually issue a decision. They might ask you for more evidence. They might call you in for another interview, but the lawsuit gets them to take your case off the shelf, open it back up, and begin working on it again. That's what the lawsuit does. It's no guarantee they're going to approve your case, but in most instances, they're going to start working on the case again. The lawsuits don't work every time, but they work most of the time. So if you've done all those things that I mentioned, contact the CIS ombudsman, contacted members of Congress, asked for your case to be expedited. If none of those things worked, I encourage you to look into the Writ of Mandamus. The Writ of Mandamus is the lawsuit that you file in which you ask the judge to order them to get moving on your case. You should consider this as the last weapon in your arsenal, the last chance you have to get action, and it's the only thing that's going to move the needle. It's the only thing that's going to get your case moving. It might not work for sure, but it's really your only chance. If you have questions about the Great Writ of Mandamus or about filing an action against USCIS or the State Department for immigration delays, you should give us a call. We have filed over 1,100 of these lawsuits around the country, and we love working on these cases. We love helping people who have been stuck get some movement on their cases and to get that decision and to reunite with their partner, like I mentioned at the top of the video. So give us a call, 314-961-8200. You can email us, info@hackinglawpractice.com. Be sure to join us in our Facebook group. It's called Immigrant Home. We'd love to have you join us in Immigrant Home. There are over 8,000 members in that group, and they're talking about the immigration process every single day. So if that's something that interests you, please consider joining us. And then the last thing I would suggest is that you follow us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. That way, whenever we release a new video like this one, or when we go live on our Immigration Answer Show, you're one of the first to know. Thanks a lot and have a great day.